Saki and Francois, good evening. We're just going to give it 1 second for the Facebook Live to come up on my timeline as well. And so if you just bear with me for 1 second. Okay, there you go. It's on my side. Saki, Francois, you guys can hear me. You can hear me well.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you so much for both of you. I'm going to introduce both of you in a second, but before we get there, good evening to everybody watching this this live Facebook chat. This is my first one, and the idea is that we're going to do this weekly. And every week I'm going to have different guests, one or more guests with me. And tonight I'm very privileged to have two very good friends of mine on the call with me. And it's Saki Hubert and Francois, Saki Stoll, sorry, and Francois Hubert, both from the BestSure group. And guys, thank you so much for joining me. Saki, welcome. Thank you for chatting with me tonight.
Oh, thank you, Mona. Thank you for the invite. Really, it's a chilly evening here on the West Rand. So, but yeah, thank you so much for inviting us, and we're looking forward to sharing some time with you this evening.
Fantastic. Francois, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be here. Who would have thought 40 years ago that we'll meet on a Zoom session in a winter evening? So nice to be here.
Yeah, I just spoke to my dad, and my dad couldn't believe when I told him I'm going to be on a call with you. So yes, fantastic. Saki, I started writing down your CV, and then I ran out of paper. So I'm going to ask you in short, before we get to the chat, just quickly tell us what you do and how you got involved. And then after that, I'll give a chance to Francois. And then we start talking about the fantastic, super amazing topic, I think, that's extremely relevant for the times we live in. And we're going to talk about short-term insurance, ask a couple of very basic questions. We're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it short. And then I'm going to talk to Francois about something extremely important. And that is talking about your will and a living will and everything about that. So Saki, please tell us about yourself.
Yes, thank you so much, Mona. Yes, my name is Saki Stoll. I'm heading up commercial and marketing in BestSure Financial Services. Been there for quite some time, I think well over 15 years. Been in the insurance industry for quite some time, well over 25 years, so that's probably giving my age away. But yeah, the insurance, they say insurance is like the mafia, you know, once you're in it, it's difficult to get out of it. So we at BestSure situated just here on Gordon Road in Florida, and quite a nice company, and we will share a little bit more about it on a later stage. But yeah, thank you so much, Mona. But yeah, that's me.
Saki, thank you. It's my birthday on Friday, and I'm 21, and you're 2 years older than me. So yeah, good. Francois, in short, please tell us about yourself.
Well, no, thanks. Yes, I'm part of Best Prestige Blue Star. We partnered with BestSure last year and look after the long-term insurance and investment side of the business. Obviously, the era that we are in, ring-fencing our clients and making sure that clients get full financial support and value from our businesses is critically important for us. So the Best Prestige side, I look after the investment side specifically, and then also after life cover, looking after the longer term estate planning side of our clients. So making sure that the clients get a comprehensive total financial services support from our combined businesses.
Awesome. Francois, thank you so much. Just quickly off the topic completely, you were an amazing athlete when you were in school. Would have been great to see you on the Olympics doing your walk, Francois.
I think it's more in the shot put environment now than in the walking environment. After raising a couple of kids, then you most probably won't do the race walking anymore. But yeah, it was a good time. That
we'll get Saki in for team manager, and I'll just be a supporter, and you can do your thing.
Done.
Saki, let's get into it. We live in crazy times. I mean, everybody knows that our country has been in a terrible state the last couple of weeks. Crazy things happened with the looting. But even before that, there's so many people that still haven't got short-term insurance in place. And if I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and we'll talk about that, keep it short, but is there insurance out there? Let's say I drive my car and I drive into a riot and my car is burned down. I mean, these things happen, especially the last couple of weeks. Is there insurance in place for something like that? And how can somebody go about to get that?
Yes. Mona, it's a very important question. And, I think after all, the last couple of weeks has been horrific, in the sense of we seeing, on Facebook, we're seeing videos posted on WhatsApp groups and all that about the people looting and burning down the places. That's part of insurance called BestSure, which is for political riot and strike. So on all insurance policies, that is available. It's also optional. So just make sure, and that's my recommendation to you tonight, is just make sure that your policy do have that cover on. It's called BestSure for political riot and strike. Over the last couple of years, that has changed in being, it had to be political orientated, a riot or a strike or looting. But nowadays, it could be anything that's actually triggering the event. So it's not specifically just to political riots. So please do ask your broker, and that you need to make sure that on your motor and household, your personal lines policy, that it's on, as well as obviously on your business policy, to make sure that cover is on. And that, Borna, in short, will cover you for that event where your vehicle or your property has been damaged by riot or strikes or looting, and what we saw the last couple of weeks.
Of course. I think there's, the times we live in, economic times, it's challenging for many people. I think there is people out there that unfortunately also made the mistake of cancelling their insurance just to try to save some money somewhere. But I think they want to pull their hair out of their heads at the moment for doing something like that. In today's times, we just cannot go without that.
Yeah. You see, the unfortunate part, just on the cancelling of the policies, it's probably one of the first things that go. If you must choose between putting food on your table or paying an insurance policy, and that's just a basic risk management that needs to be done to make sure that you've got some sort of cover. Once again, please speak to your broker, speak to us, and let's see if we can make a plan for you.
Of course. And we're going to discuss that with Francois as well, and why it's so important, because not only that, you can die in a riot, for example, or something can go wrong. And if your life insurance and your will is not in place and your short-term insurance, it's just trouble waiting to happen. Saki, what advice can you give us in short? I know you probably can talk for days about this, but what advice can you give us on motor and household insurance?
Well, Mona, yeah, you're quite right. I can speak for days, but let me give you a couple of things that we've seen of late, and specifically, I always like to talk about claims where there was a claim and the claim did not pay out or was repudiated based on a couple of factors. So just to make sure that you got this right, is number one is on your household contents, I will really recommend you to do what we call inventory. And that's basically, looking at your household contents and seeing, what the value of that contents is. Keep in mind, we are insuring at replacement value. So it's a paper that you actually complete. You can get I know some companies do offer surveyors to come out to your house and come and do it very professionally, although it's not really needed. But to establish the correct price or the correct sum insured that you need to insure your household contents for. Just keep in mind that your household contents is one of the things that they do apply average. So when they break into the house and they actually clear you out, and let's say, for example, your household contents was insured for 100,000, it was supposed to be insured for 200,000. Obviously, there's a 50% average that will apply, and you'll get lesser out than what you were supposed to get out. On the motor
Sure.
side of things, let's call this one is the nominated drivers. Now, not by giving any of the direct insurers any grief tonight, but just make sure that when you insure that your driver is what you've asked for, meaning that if it's a nominated driver, meaning a nominated driver, only that person can drive the vehicle. It is a much cheaper premium to do that. However, you get an open driver policy, which means that anybody can drive the vehicle. As soon as it's nominated, you actually nominate a specific person to drive the vehicle. So when you're in an accident and that person has not been nominated, that could lead to a repudiation of a claim, which obviously can cost you some money. That's just two tips, Mona. I don't think I can keep you busy with quite a bit tonight on what to do and what not to do. And obviously, speak to your broker. Make sure that you maybe get to him at least once a year. Update your policy, because you do get stuff that you buy straight throughout the year, and to make sure that your policy is updated.
I just wanted to say that, Saki, I think everybody's situation change often. I mean, so many people now suddenly work from home. They don't spend time on the road anymore. Surely that must affect can affect your premium monthly as well.
Absolutely. Yes, it does. Definitely. And that's why, like I say, speak to an authorized broker. Let him assist you. We'll at the end as well give you an offer that you can have a look at. But yeah, it's like the saying always go, Mona, it's always to say after an event had occurred that I should have, done this, or I should have done that. To make sure that,
Yes.
Your stuff is in order. And so when there's a claim, that there's no surprises.
I'm laughing now. I'm thinking back a while back. I've spoken to Andrea, my girlfriend, and I spoke to her, and I said to her, listen, we need to sort out your insurance, and give me a list of what you've got so that we put it on the insurance. And I was thinking back of the time that I've done mine, and typically me, sometimes being all over the place, I made a list, but it was small papers and nothing was done, perfectly. Andrea sent me an Excel form, everything detailed, how many spoons she had in her house, probably how many hair clips, everything to the book. But I guess that's the right thing to do.
That is
anyway,
the right thing to do.
She will probably give me a hard time if she hears this. Saki, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Sure.
When it comes to business insurance, what do you need to look out for?
Sure. Mona, once again, there's so many things to look at, and what the biggest thing is of business insurance is to do a proper risk management. So what we do is, an example, we'll go out to the business owner, we'll sit down, discuss risk with him. After all, the outflow of any risk management is actually your insurance policy, to see, to cover events that might occur or that might not occur. You don't need to cover that events. I've seen so many policies of late, specifically business policies, that could have been streamlined. Some stuff that's not a risk anymore, that's still covered, and some events that is not really, supposed to be on the policy, which is still covered. So specifically in this day and age, make sure that you do the risk management. I'll just give you an example, Mona, of a simple risk management. You've got an alarm in your building, wherever you are. You've got 24/7 security. You've got off-site monitoring. So what is the risk really if they're going to be breaking into that place and wipe the place out or clear your place out? The risk is almost nothing, So I'm just using that as an example. So why do you want to take theft cover then if the risk is not there anymore, or if it's limited? So take at least, don't have to take 100,000 rands theft cover, only take 20,000 rands theft cover. So That's a kind of risk mitigation which I see plays a huge role, and that obviously plays a huge role on your bottom line, on your premium saving. So in any case, paying for an alarm. So get your stricter security measures and then take some stuff off your policy.
Saki, yeah, that's so much to take in. And I guess, as we said, we can talk about this for days. I think there's so many examples. I'm living in a complex, and at one stage, the complex, the gate was out of order, and we didn't have security for over 2 weeks. And I've only realized and learned afterwards that during that time, I actually wasn't insured because that wasn't stipulated on my policy. And am I correct when I say, because my policy stipulated that I live in a security complex where the gate is closed all the time, and then during that time, if they did break in, I probably would not have been covered, correct?
Yeah, 100% right. 100% right.
Yeah,
And you know,
it's scary.
yeah, and unfortunately, you know,
No,
that's things like, you know, people is not educated about it. But as soon as the claim occurs, then the claim would, you already got the loss, but you didn't know. You know, and unfortunately, in today's day and age, you know, there's not such thing. Then I didn't know.
of course. Saki, thank you so much. I know at the end, we're going to quickly wrap up again, and you're going to give everybody that's watching, either live or later on, a lovely offer and be of great assistance to them. But Francois, let's move over to you. Recently, for all the Afrikaans people watching, especially watching their soapies, Getroud met Rugby and Binnenlanders, there's been an example on Getroud with Rugby, for example, where one of the main characters, Reitz, was in a car accident, and Reitz actually had a living will in place, as well as the fact that he was an organ donor. That was quite sad to see. And unfortunately, we as a family, my cousin, many years ago, he was murdered and gone through exactly the same thing. We was an organ donor. Sad, but things like that happened. And even then on Binnenlanders, there was Ilana that passed away. I think, if I remember correctly, there was an accident as well. But the big thing there was the two kids, obviously, and the estate and all of that had to be paid out and all of that. That's great examples of how quickly things can go wrong, Francois. So when it comes to a will, what are the main things that we need to make sure that we have in place, Francois?
What I perhaps just sort of intro to what you're saying is, and then there was COVID as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Sanlam coming back to us now, and you won't believe that in this whole 15, 16-month period that we've been through now, it's not cover that was the biggest issue on the Sanlam side. It's not looking at the investment values and where they're going. The most requests and questions we had was about wills, because today you think all your stuff is in place, and tomorrow you're not there to make a decision about what should happen when something happens to you. So it brings us right back to the importance of a will. And I think you touched on it now. Let's start off to say that when last did people effectively look at their wills? And that's the starting point. I mean, if you haven't in a 3 to 5 year span had a look at what all the stipulations are that are in your will, the chance of you sitting with a will that's not executable and therefore does not allow the people that stay behind to honor your wishes is very good. So I think to start the discussion about a will, you should start at, do you actually have something in place to make decisions when you are not able to make decisions? Because that's what a will is about. And have you spoken to the people that sit around you and that deal with you on a daily basis and depend on you as to what should happen if you cannot make the decisions? And does your will effectively reflect that and is executable according to the laws of our country when you get into that position? So in short, it's sort of a sidetrack to the answer that you're looking for, but that's what it is about. If you're not able to tell people what you want, does your will stipulate that?
Francois, it's sad, but it's true. I'm on a men's group, and every Tuesday night we talk about a topic, and and things close to heart. And we often tell each other that it is something we don't like to talk about death. We talk about everything else, the weather, the rugby, the so-called high tackle that was supposed to be a yellow card or red that wasn't given on Saturday. We talk about everything else, but we don't talk about that. What do I want at my funeral? What my will, for example. It's and it's the most important thing to talk about. So, Francois, how often should one then update a will?
Well, if I could do it every year, I would do it every year, but we need to be realistic. I mean, in most situations, if you look at a will on a yearly basis, it's more than adequate. I say to my clients that you cannot exceed 5 years and not revise your will. Then you're moving into very dangerous territory. If we talk about a will being executable or not, things might have changed over the last 5 years, where you had people that should benefit from your will and be beneficiaries and heirs in your will, and they're not there anymore. And it gets to a point that your wishes state that X, Y, and Z should go to this person, that person, and the other person, and they're not able to do it because those people are not here and there are not structures in place of what need to happen with their assets. So in my mind, I think 5 years is the absolute sort of limit that you can't move beyond. I think a 3-year environment is actually quite a good space that every 3 years you need to go through it in detail. And in a 5-year space, you should actually also add the estate planning angle, looking at the financing, the liquidity thereof, and everything else that goes with estate planning as well.
Thank you, Francois. Wow, that's I wonder how many people actually do that. I think that will be frightening to know. Francois, let's use the Binnenlanders example. What about minors? Mom and dad pass away, and it's only the minors, the 2 young kids staying behind. What about them?
It's a minefield if you start talking about guardianship. It should be stipulated, it should be thought through, you should get proper advice as to how do you bring it into a will, what is the implication of a divorce when you put guardians into your will on it. So that whole aspect is a minefield from a legal point of view, and you need to have proper input in that space. The second side of it is, so what happens if the kids are not 18 years old yet and there's money and there's assets that should go to them, and it brings the whole trust discussion, keep looking after the assets for the kids until they're at an age that you believe the money and the assets should be going to them, that they can take responsible decisions for it. So again, you need to think through it, you need to put a structure in place, and you need to allow for a trust as a proper structure to be put in place to look after your kids at that point in time.
Sure. Well, that's a mouthful, but I'm sure there's so many fights out there because, once again, most of the time I think that's probably not in place the way it should be.
And the repercussions.
Yeah, I'm sure that's and during a time like that, you don't want to go through that emotional worries, and certainly don't want to put your kids through that. You want to make sure that everything is sorted during that extremely difficult time for them.
Absolutely.
Francois, let's use the Getrouwd rugby example, where the young fit rugby player that was there one day suddenly, unfortunately, got badly injured in a car accident, and he was on life. What's it? What do you call it? Life support. Thank you, Saki. That's my Afrikaans letting me down there. He was on life support, and he had a living will. So, what is a living will, and how do I get that in place if I want to do that?
A living will is an addition to a normal will. So what it allows is that when you unfortunately get into the position that you need to leave you have to depend on equipment and implements to do your life support because clinically you are not able to do it anymore. A living will allows for the implements and equipment to be switched off and give the authority from your side to do it. It's not part of a normal will. It's a will that needs to be created over and above your normal will. And you need to sit and talk through your legal representative to actually give you a good idea of the implications of that. And then you need to draft a will that allow for that, so that the people that are left behind have your clear authority as to what should happen and what should not happen at that point in time.
Francois, if I have a living will, do I also then need to stipulate, and again, I'm just thinking back about what happened in Getroud with rugby, Getroud met rugby, and obviously that's not 100% spot on all the time. It's a TV series, but do I need to stipulate in that living will who is the person or persons that can and will make the decisions on my behalf? Who finally switch the machines off? If that makes sense, what I'm asking.
It most probably will depend on the situation. A living will can be broad enough to allow for the authority should it happen. So you give authority that it may happen and you don't necessarily need to stipulate the person, but you obviously can do that as well. Again, it's about the circumstances, what you want, and having a proper, decent discussion with the necessary legal representative that can take you through the detail. As I say, it can be complicated or it can be very uncomplicated, but it allows for that to be able to happen.
Francois, and then that brings me to the next one. What about organ donors, and what about the fact that I might want to have a normal funeral compared to somebody else that might want to be cremated, for example?
You can put the options into your will. As a matter of fact, in our basic wills, we allow for that to be put into it, and then it can be executed once you are not there to be able to tell people that that's what you want on it. So again, it's exactly the purpose why you should have a will. You are not there to tell them what you want because you have drafted it into your will. They can actually execute it when you are not available to tell them what to do.
Of course. Francois, will it be correct if I say to keep it simpler is as simple as possible is then actually better than to have this complicated will? Is it correct in saying that?
Absolutely. I normally say to my clients, don't try and rule from the grave, because the more complicated you make it, the more questions comes with executability of the will at that point in time. Now you want to do a list of 100 things that need to happen with your belongings and the way you thought about family and the way you wanted to run it. And the executor is not in a position to fulfill that will. And if there is enough of those instances, and if it is crucial enough in the whole execution of your will, they will come to a point to say, but your will is not executable anymore. And then you go into an interstate environment where it's determined other than the way that you would have liked it to be. So yeah, Morna, you spot on. I understand that there are complex wills where you need to have proper legal advice in there as to how you deal with specific entities, how you deal with specific assets, with specific situations. But as a general rule, if you can avoid complexity in a will, it just makes it so much easier and executable when you get to that point in time. But then stating that there are circumstances where it needs to be more complex, and then you need to have the proper legal expertise to advise you how to do that.
Bottom line, I guess, is speak to the professionals. And talking about that, Francois, I twisted your arm beforehand, and I know that you've got an offer for everybody listening tonight. So please tell us about that.
Yeah, we are, Mona. We are in a position to offer to people that don't have wills and need urgent revisions of their wills, actually to do it for free. The value of drawing up such a will in the most basic circumstances is about 900 Rand at this point in time. And if there are any people on this discussion that would need urgent advice on that, we are more than willing to do it from Best Prestige's side for free at this point in time. They should just indicate it and make contact with us, and we will take it up with them.
Francois, that's awesome. Thank you so much. So for everybody watching, in the description on the live Facebook that's on my page, as well as in the comment section at the bottom, when I'm done here, I will go and put that in the comment section at the bottom as well. There's a form that you can click on, and if you click on that form, it will take you to obviously the online form that you can fill in. And all that you need to do is put your details there, your name, your number, contact details, and you can stipulate there. Do you either want, and I'm going to put Saki on the spot as well, you probably don't know it yet, but you can either indicate there, do you need assistance with your will, or then maybe advice on short-term insurance, or both, and then submit the form, and then Francois, you guys will get back to them, correct?
We will definitely do that, and we will do it sooner rather than later. There is no time to waste. All up and running.
Well, if I take myself as an example, I'm much better now. I'm so thankful. But I've had COVID, and it was really bad. And at one stage, I was scared that I might not make it. And things can change like that. Anything is possible. Forget COVID. It can be, you can go to Cradlestone Mall, and there can be a wall that collapsed. That happened on the weekend, I believe. Anything can happen. Saki, from your side, how can you help people? I know for you, it's not only about getting the business; it's about assisting people. I know your heart. How can you help from your side?
Mona, what we would like to offer from our side is a free risk assessment. What that entails will be then, if we look at your current position with your insurance, give you advice on that. And please, it's no obligation. So we're not going to have a gun against your head and say you have to take insurance or anything like that. It's just making sure, like Mona says, just make sure that you are correctly insured. And we will be the first ones to tell you that, yes, everything is in order, or change here or change there. But the key thing is to make sure that there's no surprises, whenever there's a claim. I think that is the key thing. And obviously, I think for now, with the COVID regulations that's in place, I think most people do not see each other, physically, so virtual meetings. So we do offer a virtual broking facility, meaning that, we can either go on platforms like Team, we can do Zoom, like what we are using the facility tonight. We can even go on a conference call. So it depends on, there's many ways. And if you really would like to see us physically, we can make a plan. But like Mona says, it's a free risk assessment. If you either on your motor and household insurance, if you need some advice, or on your business insurance, either or.
Saki, fantastic. Thank you so much. I can't believe we've been online now for about 35 minutes. Wow. Feels like 5, but we can probably go on for another 2 days. Gentlemen, Saki, Francois, from my side, thank you so much for your time, for your expertise, for your advice. As always, I love talking to you. Thank you. I'm sure everybody that watched really did learn a lot. Guys, please get in touch with Saki, get in touch with Francois. Just click on the form, fill it in, and I know they will go out of their way to assist you. Gentlemen, from my side, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody watching. And Saki, Francois, thank you. It was wonderful.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Mona. Thank you for your time.
100%. I'm just going to, thanks for Saki, thanks, Francois. I'm just going to stop the live stream on Facebook, guys. Be blessed. And myself and Saki and Francois is going to continue our chat in private.